Hey, I would do it to back your favorite kid. Oh, sorry. I'll be saying that so low now. Oh my god. Look, it's 9 something in the morning. It's probably 10 now. 10:05. Look at that. It was 9:21 when I first looked at the clock, and I didn't get up. I laid down because this one walked up and crawled on me, as she's doing now. My father texted me when I woke, like rose back up, like 9:37, and he's been texting me since. So it's like he doesn't actually like text me. Like he texts me good morning and asks how school was coming, which is weird because like why out of all things you just ask me how school's coming. So I'm like, oh, okay. And then Philip asked me I was up 3 hours ago. Not 3 hours ago, 3 a.m. No, it was not. So just like two people that don't really text a kid are texting me. But the thought of my dad texting me was just like, oh, okay. That's new. I was in the middle of writing in my prayer journal, and mentally, that's actually why I grabbed this phone, because I was gonna just read a section. I normally do this after I read it, but I just feel so confused. So I thought maybe this would help me feel better. So the last time I did a video, it was because I was dang near over with Ecclesiastes. Is that how you pronounce this? Ecclesiastes. I think so. Never know. Because I was reading chapter 8, even though during that day that I read chapter 11, and then kind of like went through chapter 12, but didn't like do too much about it. Like I just read it. And was like, you know what? I'm gonna just go straight forward to Solomon, and we maybe will try to make sense and loop back around. But when I got to Solomon, well, actually, no, I mean, like reading chapter 12 of Ecclesiastes, it was basically saying, even in the caption it says, remember your youth, and I remember being happy about reading it, but I remember that when I read it, it was already highlighted, which means I had already read it before. And apparently, when I read it the first time, I highlighted something red, which means I thought it was just really deep. But when I read it again, I don't remember why. And that doesn't happen too often. And then I just was like, let me just try to move forward to King Solomon. But the first chapter in Solomon, it's talking about a young woman. But when I first read it, my mind didn't go like literal. Like it just instantly went. It's not figuratively. Is it technically figuratively speaking? Technically, but more like metaphorical. That's the word that I was thinking about, right? Look how cute she is. Look how cute and peaceful she is. Why she want to lay on me, I don't know. But she always wants to lay on me. Anyway, I'm gonna pause because I'm gonna respond to my father. Or maybe. Okay. I think it kept recording. I was trying to roll the notifications up. But I'm gonna stick right here on this packet that I have. Okay. Make sure I'm not on her tail. So, matter of fact, I'm going to read 12 first. Remember your Creator in your youth. Ecclesiastes chapter 12. Remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. So I highlighted this orange as something that I'm supposed to do. So remember now thy Creator. So that's giving, remember now thy Creator. So that, to me, it maybe off the bat is having a relationship with God now in the days of thy youth. While the evil days come not. I think that started to confuse me, because during the evil days come not, meaning they don't come, nor, neither, the years draw near. So now saying that aloud, the years draw near. So if you're talking in reference to the evil days coming, they're not coming towards you. Right? When thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. But when it says pleasure in them, are they talking about evil or your youth? And that, I think, made me confused. So maybe I need to go back to school when it comes to basic grammar teaching and stuff like that. Maybe that would help. I know that sounds so random, but if you notice, during this generation, we are all kind of starting to become programmed botly, technology wise. We can't do things so swift as we used to. And for me personally, there were some things that I wasn't able to do or didn't know how to do or haven't learned yet in general. So we're really becoming this dependent kind of thing, but dependent on the wrong things. And so maybe I should try to go back to the drawing board about relearning certain situations and relearning certain skills. Because at first I would stop trying to do those things out of embarrassment, because it's you're too grown to not know how to do these things. But there's so many more people that don't actually know how to do these things, and there's so many youths that's not learning how to do these things. But then there are some that are really, really smart. So maybe if I just go back, I think maybe that would benefit certain. For this reason, I just had this thought, because something about where commas are placed. Commas are supposed to teach you how to pause. But if I'm not mistaken, certain things also separate ideas. And I'm not sure if that's the intent this time or not. I don't know if that makes sense. But the point, remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. Or maybe it's saying get right with God now, remember the Creator now, because now, during your youth, evil days aren't coming yet, and, drawing near in the sense of, you're still young, so, you're still technically in your youth, so you can't say you don't have pleasure in your youth because you're still in it. But at the same time, remember your Creator still, is the acknowledgement. Remembering them, it's on your mind. When you remember something, you have a fond recollection of what's occurring, right? So if you're remembering your creator being God, you have this recollection of who he is. You're thinking about it. You don't forget these things. And I know it's also said that like when you get older, you get more stuck in your ways. And it's easier to manipulate basically. They're easier to teach because they're not stuck in their ways. I'm saying they, like I'm not 25 years old. Like I'm still in my youth. I think that's the thing that people mistaken, that technically I'm an adult, but I'm a very young adult. Like I'm still, in my mind, I'm still a child. In a lot of my friends' minds, we're still childlike. It still feels like we're children who have to have like certain responsibilities, which can be kind of stressful because it still feels like we're kids, you know? That's what it feels like to me. It doesn't feel like I'm an adult. It feels like I am a child. And some people will be like, oh, maybe because like you're still living with your mom and stuff like that. Because my mother is capable of taking care of me. I am well aware. I don't even want to say this because it's like it's both. Like being able to take care of myself. Like I've been away to college, right? Like I can do certain things for myself. It's like I could cook for myself if need be to find food, you know. But to be stable at the moment, I just don't trust myself to do that. I know if all things happen like to where I have to, I am strong enough to, you know, take care of myself because God will allow it. But at the same time, what I'm trying to say is I know in my head, in my right mind, that mentally developing, I know I still, you know, have ways to go. That's not what I wanted to say originally. It's not at all. But now I don't remember how I wanted to say that. I know my right mind. I'm not strong enough mentally yet in my adulthood. God is still working on me, right? And although God will always be working on you, I feel like it's probably stages of when He's working on you. I just feel that I'm in a position where I'm still a baby in Christ, a baby follower, you know. I am not spiritually and mentally developed enough to be out on my own. And in that case, I am still in my youth. Okay. And that's not a bad thing, according to this. But in this case, it's just saying to remember that your creator. You know, teach them while they're young, because when you teach them while they're young, it kind of determines how they grow up. You know, it doesn't necessarily determine how they will be, not all the time, but it's a good factor. So like teaching your kids good morals so they can take them along with them in their own lives, right? Now life will throw certain things at you, so that also can make a difference. I'm trying to like move a certain way because I don't have any pants on, so I was trying not to put my underwear together. So I did this like weird little weird little thing to lose. I had to move. Okay. Well. Yeah. So, while the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain. So that just sounds like off the back. It sounds like certain situations that are considered hard times is what this seems like. So it seems like when, like, before hard times come, remember God is what this feels like. This is saying. Because it seems like it's implying, or it sounds like it's implying that it's going to happen. More like it's telling you this is going to happen. So, before it happens, remember your creator. So to me, remember your creator seems like it might be, it could be portraying the relationship that you should be having with God before, like, the bad, the worst of the worst occurs later on. That then just made me think, like, right now about, I haven't read Revelations. Like, I've read it, but I haven't read it. I don't know how to make that make sense. Because, like, I'm currently in the process of reading the Bible from front to back. But instead of reading it front to back of just reading it, I'm trying to understand it. Which is why it's taking me so long. Because if I was just reading it, I probably would have been done with this book. As far as, like, reading it through. Not been done with this book as in, like, once I read it, I'm never going to pick it up again. But I'm just, like, trying to understand it. And there are certain days where I'm like, I get this. And there are certain days like, I don't get this. I'm confused. And when I get confused, I get frustrated. But read the Bible. Yesterday night, I got frustrated. Not yesterday night, more like this morning. Or last night. Last night, this morning, I got frustrated. Because I'm reading it and my mind was just like, what? But normally that doesn't happen. So I, like, said a prayer for a bit. It was just like, please free me, because. But a lot of the time I get confused. And so, like, I kind of, like, pause with reading it. Or, like, keep rereading it. And it just feels like it takes so long to finish a chapter. Like, Ecclesiastes is 12 chapters. The Song of Solomon is 8 chapters. And if I'm confused, it'll take me the entire month to get through it. And it'll just kind of be, I don't know if I'm the only one, but it's annoying because it just makes me feel like I'm behind. And I just don't like feeling like I'm behind because I just always feel like I'm behind. So, like, it just makes me feel pretty worthless because it's just like you're doing, like, stuff that you should be doing, you're supposed to be doing, and you're not doing it. What's wrong with you? Just do it. And it's becoming harder to do. And that's with a lot of things, not just reading the Bible. So, it's currently, In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few, and those that look out the windows be darkened, and the door shall be shut in the streets, and the sounds of the grinding is low, and he shall raise up the voice of the bird, and the daughters of music shall be brought low. Also, when they shall be afraid of that which is high, and fears shall be in the way, and the almond tree shall flourish, and the grasshopper shall be a burden, and the desire shall fall, because man goeth to his long home, and the mourners go about the streets. Whenever the silver cord be loose, or the golden bowl be broken, or the pitcher be broken at the fountain, or the wheel broken at the cistern, then shall the dust return to the earth as it was, and the spirit shall return unto God who gave it. Reading that now really does kind of sound like the stuff that people talk about that is happening in Revelations, or like the end of days, is what that kind of just made me think of. That's what that, like, my thoughts instantly just went to that. Maybe it went to that beforehand, because I definitely highlighted this red, and it was already highlighted red before I even started reading it. But clearly I'm the one that highlighted it, so clearly I read it before. But that just sounds like, because when I read it the day or two before, I was just like, what? But now, like, reading it now, it's just like, that sounds like a when the world ends kind of situation is what that made me think of. Whomever watches my videos, because whenever, like, it's so funny, this is the only videos that I don't pay attention to, like, viewers and followers. Like, when it's my Instagram, when it wasn't deactivated, because on my socials, most of them are deactivated. I used to pay attention to who was looking. Well, if I'm being honest, it was because I was trying to see if a dude that I like would watch my story. Because back in college, I didn't really care for Snapchat. Still don't. Or, I care for Instagram. I'm not going to say I don't care for Instagram, because that's where I'm trying to eventually post my model pictures. Eventually. So I care about that. But at the same time, I was only posting so much because I was trying to see the person's under my views, to see if it was the person that I liked, to see if he cared about what I was doing. So I would post overly much than what I would normally post or care to post, just to see his name pop up under my views. That's insane, because every now and then I still do that, depending on who I want to see under my views. That's insane. Like, I'll look for certain people. Don't even look at everyone else that's viewing. Right? That's insane. Yes. I do that. I'm admitting that I do that. Starting to get out of that, though. I don't do it as often anymore. Probably because love life is not the going right now. So that's the thing. But also, it doesn't tell you who viewed, it just tells you how many on YouTube. But it's something, this isn't something that, like, I'm doing to be seen. So I think that's also the difference. Like, I'm not making these videos to be seen by anybody. But I have noticed this, and, like, it does get views, which is something that I'll be like, oh, some of them are me. But I'll notice that, like, from a first view that it's not me. Because, like, I just, like, upload this from my phone. Like, eventually I'll just, like, when this is over, I think I'll go click share, upload to YouTube, and then whenever it uploads, it uploads. It doesn't tell me when it uploads. I don't know. It might take a minute. And I just don't think much of it because I kind of forget about it at that point. So, but I have noticed it'll at least get like 5 views. And I know people don't watch it to the end. There's some people that don't watch it to the end. I know one of my views is one of my friends, simply for the fact that they told me they watched it. So I never thought, like, if he wouldn't have told me, I wouldn't have even thought he was in person at all. I would have thought, I don't know, just like people who I think are paying attention to me aren't paying attention to me, and the people who I didn't think are paying attention to me are probably paying attention to me. But I don't really care to like think about who those people are, because I don't think I need to know. Because if I needed to know, I probably would just be like, I watch your stuff. I don't know. I digress. I don't do this for me, to be seen. I do it kind of just like tracking my own thoughts and using it to remember where my mind space was at the time. So if anything, I do this stuff for myself. That sounds kind of weird, but I'm publicly posting it because why am I publicly posting this? I think it's more so like, because normally I have Snapchat to like post my thoughts. I don't post them to my story, but I'll just post it to record what I'm thinking throughout the day if I have a thought. But then I'll just save it. I won't post it for other people to look at because it's for me to look at. And then years from now, it might remind me this is something that you say. But these I publicly post. I think more so just because you never know what your thoughts and things could do for someone else. And being the fact of like what I'm thinking about, I feel like it would be beneficial. Like I used to watch an old friend of mine like read the Bible. Actually, so like we read the Bible throughout. He did like this little series thing, and I used to watch those with him. But I realized that learning to read on someone else's pace doesn't work for me. Like so technically I read the Bible throughout because I read it with him and his like YouTube stuff. But it just didn't work for me. Like I was still reading the Bible on my own and continuously doing that on my own at the same time. So, and he started like with the New Testament. I started with the Old. So, but that's what, going back to the point of 12, that's what it gives. It gives like the end of times that people be talking about. I'm saying people because I haven't read it throughout to feel like I can vocalize that. Fear God and His commandments. Vanities of vanities, said the preacher, all is vanity. It sounds like more of a reflection of whoever's speaking. Moreover, because the preacher was wise, he still taught the people knowledge. He gave good heed and sought out and set in order many proverbs. And from what I learned, the definition of proverbs is actually teaching, like a life lesson. So the whole book of Proverbs is just more like a life lesson chapter. That's so crazy. Okay, because when I like first read Proverbs, like everyone's like Proverbs 31 woman, and then I read Proverbs and I was like, this sounds terrible, but like I don't get what's the hype about why all the women in the Bible, she's the one that seems like she's praised the most, because you want you a Proverbs 31 woman. Okay, a woman that cooks for you, she cleans, she's kind, she's hard. Like, those are good traits to have. I'm not denying that. But I just, like, why is she overhyped? When, like, those are great qualities to have. I get that. She wakes up before, to make dinners or meals. She works up until evening and then prepares for dinner. Like, she's very hardworking. But there's other women, I'm sure, in the Bible that are also like that. So what is it about this one? And I would read that because it's the last chapter of Proverbs too. So like, I don't know. Because if you think about it, like, there's one girl in the Bible. I always get their names. So it's Ruth, right? And Esther. One who works so hard. And then one who saves her people. Risking her life to save her people. Those are also really good qualities in a woman. Like, a hardworking woman who, you know, after her man died, you know, she worked hard. Stuck with the people she cared about and didn't leave certain things behind. Starting to feel conviction because when I lost my brother, I did not do that. That's why I'm struggling now. You feel me? But you know, like, they're not hyping that. I don't know. I feel like so far, I'm just trying to find a female that I can relate to in the Bible, but I don't know. When I had like this like Hayden app on my iPhone that like doesn't work because I didn't pay for it, but they took money out of my account, so but still doesn't make the app work. I don't know. I was reading about what kind of, based off my situation now, who would I like compare myself to? And like, first they compare me to the man, the one that Delilah deceived with the hair. I don't know his name because I didn't actually. Did I read that chapter? Or I think I misinterpreted that chapter because it was more so about. It was more so about taking away your strength. And ironically, I understood that part. Like, I got that part of the message really well. But I just didn't pay attention to, like, the girls and stuff like that. Like, I didn't take note of a female trying to take away from the man. I just took, definitely, like, the devil will definitely try to pick at your strengths, not your weaknesses. Because the devil doesn't care about your weaknesses. He cares about your strength. Okay? But then when I asked the app about like females and stuff like that, I like the female version. They basically brought up Delilah. Like, she was the girl that did that, but she was also struggling with her own like issues. And then thinking about this rapper that I would listen to very frequently last year, who I need to start listening to again, Karen the Light. He talks about how he doesn't want a Delilah. And I was like, so clearly she's not a good girl in the book. But then here this app is basically comparing me to her, and it made me sad because I'm like, I don't want to be no person like this, but not in the sense of me trying to take away a man's strength. Is not where I really relate to this girl. It was more so about her lack of love for herself, her obsessiveness with the idea of love that she had, and which ultimately like destroyed her in general, is what this app was talking about. And in that sense, I was like, well, I could relate to that. And that's the thing that I need to work on, because me being so fascinated by the idea of love shouldn't destroy me, because at that point it's becoming an idol. You're idolizing that instead of the person that created you and whatnot, you know? And in that sense, I could understand, because she didn't get out of it. And when it didn't go for her, I think, like, she, if I remember correctly, she basically traded what it sounded like. She said, dude up. So, when I first thought about that, I was just like, well, now you have to be the one that just, like, gets out of it. Like, if that makes any sense. But purposely setting the dude up is something that I'm not about. So, like, in that sense, we not no full blown Delilah. I'm sorry. Yeah, my goodness. But I feel like she compared, or the app compared me more to the guy though, not the girl. Way more to the guy, because like, you have all these strengths, but the moment your love life hits, total goofy. Which is basically what this man was. So like, if anything, I'm just like the dude, but like, and he ends up fixing it, but he also dies in the end. So like, because the way he had to fix it, he also risked his own life. So, trying to have a different ending, you know. Oh. The preacher sought to find out acceptable words, and that which was written was upright, even words of truth. The words of the wise are as goads and nails fastened by the masters of assemblies. So finding words. True. I'm gonna search up goads again, because why is this always a needle word? Like, I'm very concerned. Like, what does that even mean? Like, provoke or to annoy is what goads for. So the words of the wise are as goads. So something that pokes or annoys, provokes someone to stimulate some action or reaction. So it's supposed to cause you to react or make an action. Actually, I'm gonna write that. Goes, provoke into action. The words of the wise are as provoked into action, nails fastened by masters of assemblies, which are given from one shepherd. Whenever I read the definition of a word and then read the rest of the sentence, it makes sense, because it kind of lets you know what it means afterwards. But in like old wording, like, and further by these, my son, be admonished, in making many books there is no end, and much study is a weariness of the flesh. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter, because like, there is no end. There is, and that's italicized, no end. And much study is a weariness of the flesh. Weariness means tired, right? Oh, that wasn't like weariness does mean tired. Like I'm it was a question that I knew the answer to. I searched up italicized, but I needed to focus, but it's not focusing. So I'm gonna just read it. Okay. Most commonly, italics are used for emphasis or contrast. That is, to draw attention to some particular part of a text. And then I see some examples. So when things are italicized in the Bible, you're supposed to pay attention to it. It's either for importance, emphasis, or contrast. When things are contrast, doesn't that mean things are like opposite? So that makes me, unless there's another definition for contrast. Differ, strikingly different. Contrast, the person, past tense. They all mean different though. So, no, it just means different. Okay. So, there is no end. Many books. Books are typically used to teach you. You learn something from it. That's the main point of a book. So there's no end, because it says making money books, there is no end. So there's always lessons to be learned. And much study is weariness, tiring of the flesh. Is that really a bad thing though? Tiredness, extreme tiredness of the flesh. Because we as humans, we are flesh right now, but we are also spirit. And what's more important than our flesh is our spirit. But the things that are healthy for your spirit is going to annoy or tire your flesh. So when you're learning of many books of God or whatever, or life lessons that Jesus wants you to know, it's going to make you tired. You're going to get annoyed because it goes against everything of the flesh, the things that you want to do, the things versus what you have to do, which is why certain things are so hard, right? Much study. So if you're really studying, and when you're studying, you're putting in a lot of effort to learn things, it's going to make your flesh tired. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter, though. So basically getting to the big point is what that sounds like he's saying. Fear God and keep his commandments. For this is the whole duty of a man. For God shall bring every work into judgment, and with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil. So through that, it basically tells you at the end what the purpose of the chapter 12 was. So in the beginning, it tells you, remember when you're young, God, have a relationship with God. To have a relationship with God, fear God and keep his commandments. I also need to highlight that orange. Keeping his commandments, basically doing the law or rules that he asks of you. You know, don't kill, don't steal, don't do this. Be kind to people, your neighbors, treat people a certain kind of way. It's actually more than 10. But Yeah, okay. It's crazy what happens. I blame you. I appreciate you because I don't know. I always get a satisfaction when I get to highlight my Bible. It makes me feel like I really do understand it or went in depth or thought about it more whenever I see highlights. I know that sounds weird. I don't know if that happens. But when it's like bare, it just makes me feel like, oh my goodness, maybe I missed something. Like Exodus is the entire chapter I read, just like complete confusion. Like I kid you not. Like I need to go back and read Exodus because I was just like, what? And I used to listen to like Bibles going to sleep. In Exodus, I woke up one night when I was in college. It was my senior year when I just met my roommate and I just met Trey. And I remember for whatever reason, I think my pillow was at the end of the bed, like by the door one time, and I went to sleep. And I woke up because Exodus was in my ear, and the voice just sounds so creepy and it made me scared. And the stuff he was talking about, it sounds so harsh, and I was like, oh my goodness. Whew. You know? And I was just finishing up Genesis, so I knew I was going to read it soon. I was like, not looking forward to reading this. This sounds scary. I don't know. But I just read it again when my last semester of senior year, when I ended up going to a different dorm. I read it again and realized like I didn't have anything highlighted in that chapter like at all. And apparently that's also, I think, the chapter where this Red Sea was split open. And I was just like, I was like, what chapter is this in? And I just literally like missed that. Like didn't understand probably none of that. So I really need to go back and read it. And like when things are highlighted, it just makes me feel better because it made me feel like maybe there's something about it I understood, or it just make me put more thought into it. So I'm always satisfied when I see the highlights in my book. So happy. I digress. It's been almost 50 minutes. So the Song of Solomon, chapter 1. Right? Solomon and the young woman. So this is what I mean. The Song of Songs, which is Solomon's. Let him kiss me with the kisses of his mouth, for thy love is better than wine. Because of the savor of thy good ointments, thy name is as ointment poured forth. Therefore do the virgins love me. Draw me, we will run after thee. The king hath brought me into his chambers. We will be glad and rejoice in thee. We will remember thy love more than wine, the upright love thee. Those first 4 lines is the only thing that causes me to think, right? So whereas I took it non-literal, I took it in the sense when I first read it, my mind kind of went to Jesus, someone basically saying, allowing Jesus to love them because, you know, he's one that will pour into you. He's accepted you into his home. And, you know, when that time comes and you realize all these things, you're going to be so glad that you allowed it to happen. You'll remember that when reflecting your life, you'll remember everything that God's done for you and everything that Jesus does to show his love for you, you know, and how upright his love is. That's the first, like, I didn't read this literal and every time I keep reading those first 4 lines, I don't think literal. So when I looked at like one of my Bible apps or whatever, and it gives you, like the Bible study like descriptions now to let you know what it's about. It's talking about the literal woman, and I just can't fathom it, so I started recording to try to maybe make sense of it. But, and when I read the first four, that's what I think about. You know, last night when I read it, I was just like, well, maybe it's about love and what it should look like. And then I kind of got it right when checking the Bible study thing. But, I don't know. The Song of Songs, which is Solomon's, let him kiss me with the kisses of his mouth. How else would he kiss you? Like, what? Okay. The love is better than wine. So this person's really hyping up this person's love. Better than mine. So for me, it gives something like a proper love. Whatever this love is, it's a proper love. Like, it's something, if it's better than wine, which is something that in the times they use for pleasure and entertainment, and probably Lord knows what else, then to me, it's something it sounds like it's something that's favorable, that's really good, that's, you know, a blessing to have. Let's go with that. Because for the lack of trying to get my brain out of words, because of the savor of thy good ointments. I looked up ointments. It just says oily substance. When I think of ointments, it's, you know what also I use? I put medical substance. An ointment is something used medically or can be used medically, but it's also something I think that's used for like anoint. It's an oily substance, so like to be anointed. Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself or something else that I read. Because of the savor of thy good ointments, thy name is as ointment poured forth. So let's search up ointments one more time. Ointment definition: smooth oily preparation that is rubbed on the skin for medical purpose or as cosmetics. But then I think it maybe, like, you know those like little sub questions on Google, it's like it'll always give me like what does ointment mean in the Bible? In the Bible, ointment was a soft perfumed substance used for healing, anointing, and offering to God. Actually, oh, I missed these. Dollar Tree, love these. I lost the old ones and they got wet. What else is it used for? Used for healing, anointing, offering to God. Offering to God. Okay. So, because of a savor really good witness. So what that might seem to me, based off what this is supposed to be saying, thy name, your name, is as ointments poured forth. So your name is compared to something that is good medical use or healing. Poured forth. And this is also comparing the love. Your love's better than anything. And because is what it first starts. So it's like at this point, because they're explaining why your love is better than anything. Right? Because, and then of the savor of good omens. So your love, what sounds like the person is at this point comparing their love as something that is healing and something that is anointed and something is an offering of God. Therefore do the virgins love thee. I don't really know about the significance of virgins at this point, and what virgin is. It's so funny because technically, okay, get off my Bible. You're always on my Bible. Move. Get your booty out their face. They don't want to see your butt crack. I mean, you tried to step over it. I appreciate that much. A person who has not had sexual intercourse. Yeah, we know. Not yet touched. Let's go with that. Not yet touched. It's something about that one. The virgins do love thee. Therefore, the virgins do not love thee. So your love is better than wine because it's healing, it's anointing, it's an offering to God. So the people that aren't touched yet definitely love you. It's still sounding like it's I'm gonna exit this real quick. It's still giving not Solomon. It's still giving Jesus, in my opinion. Like, it's still giving people that haven't experienced you yet, who doesn't know what real love is, that haven't experienced that yet, will of course love you. Because once they realize what real love is, come on now. And that makes it feel very personally, not attacked, directed towards me, because I have been going through the ups and the downs, and the focus is love life for me, right? Being rejected by the person that I thought was my person, for someone that feels like shouldn't be his person, in my opinion, but it's not my voice to say, to being involved with someone for almost a year of not being treated with love, but being told that they love you and they're not treating you that way at all. If anything, they're treating you the opposite and being upset with these things and having people tell you, you gotta love your first soil, you gotta love yourself first, you gotta love yourself first. You need to focus on yourself, love yourself more, because these people don't love you, and you know that. But if you loved yourself a little bit more, things might go different from you. But in reality, reading this might just be another message from God himself saying, you haven't even experienced what love is. These people is not love. This is not gonna, they can't give you love, but I can. And once you understand or realize what my love entails, I think you'll love more. You'll love you more. You'll love me more. You'll probably have a better definition of what love is. Because in reality, I am quote unquote a lover girl. I do want love. I want to be able to love someone. I want to be able to love someone properly. I've never experienced love outside of Jesus. Because, he has me alive. He's kept me safe from a lot of situations. So he loves me. But Stop it! No, this is not your toy. You have many. Go play with those. This is my pen, Twinkie. Don't turn away from me. Don't bite my ball. I don't care about you being mad. Don't bite my ball. Come here. Don't bite my ball. Come here. You can sit. Don't bite mommy's ball. Don't bite my ball. Okay? Thank you. I don't know what it is about her wanting to bite these. She bites all the ones that I have like this. And then I buy her own and she doesn't bite them. Don't bite mommy's ball. That's mommy's other favorite pen. I'm getting comfortable. It's crazy. So cute. Oh yeah. Draw me. We will run after thee. The king hath brought me into his chambers. We will be glad and rejoice in thee. Chambers. To me, I'm thinking house, brought me into home and chamber. But what exactly does chambers mean? Because what if I'm thinking about this wrong? Chamber? A large room. Private event. Especially a bedroom. Large room used for formal or public events. What is chambers in the Bible? Private rooms of the house. Or rooms set apart for accommodations. A private room for accommodations. Draw me. Draw you as in pull you, take you in. We will run after thee. So chasing after love. The king has brought me into his private room for accommodations. When you accommodate somebody, how do I say this? You're setting something up personally for them to help them out for their needs. And then, who remember thy love more than wine? accommodate, provide for space, fit in with wishes or needs of. Okay. And so if you're bringing me in, I'm chasing after thee, chasing after you, chasing after love. The king brought you into his private room. Those rooms are set up for helping your needs or whatever. You'll be glad. Of course, you're glad when your needs are met. We will remember thy love more than wine. The upright love thee. So the topic still could be love right now. Right? Pulling you in, chasing after that love, which will bring you, you know, close, bring you in. Fulfill your needs. You're happy because your needs are met, and you will remember that. Still sound like Jesus. Like I can't get past that. And then it says, I am black, but comely. I searched up the definition of last night of comely. It's pleasant to look at. I am black. Am is emphasized. Black. What do they mean by that? I don't know. But pleasant to look at. Black in what sense? Black could mean darkness. And then it also says in, like, basically a lot of negative connotations. Black meaning in the Bible: death, suffering, mourning, famine, and judgment. So, black and beautiful. I am black, so you could be mourning, you could be having like all these hard times, but you're beautiful. You're pleasant to look at. So she might be physically appealing, stating that you're black and you're beautiful. Okay. LOL, like me. I'm black and I'm beautiful. But never mind. Black isn't she could be like going through like hard times. But beautiful, she could be embracing her struggles right now. Oh, she could actually be a black girl. You never know. O ye daughter of Jerusalem, as the tents of Kedar, as the curtains of Solomon. Look not upon me because I am black. So don't look at me because of basically like what's going on like wrong in my life, because the sun has looked upon me. It says sun as in like S-U-N, but I thought S-O-N. My mother's children were angry with me. They made me the keeper of the vineyards, but my own vineyard have I not kept. Look not upon me, because I am black, because the sun hath looked upon me. The sun hath looked upon me. I feel like sun is typically something that can be thought of as white. So don't look at me because, like, you know, all of my flaws are being exposed, maybe. My mother's children, so siblings, are angry with me. So my siblings are upset with me. They made me the keeper, someone that's of the vineyards. Vineyards, those are like the grapevine thingies, right? What is the importance of that? What's the importance? In the Bible, it says the vineyards are a significant symbol in the Bible representing God's people, prosperity and peace, symbol of status, wealth, and investment. Grapes are major agriculture. Wine was important part of everyday life, consumed during celebrations, weddings, and gift offerings. Medical purposes. So this is something that's used for things that are so vineyards would be technically important, right? Because it's something that holds a substance that is typically used for wealth, celebration, everyday life, medical healing purposes. You are the keeper or responsible for looking after something that produces all these things. And they made you that person. But you haven't kept your own. So that sounds like they made you responsible. Your siblings made you the person responsible of watching over the things that are protecting, healing, everyday life, necessities, celebration, consumptions of things plus wine of like everyone else's. They made you the keeper. You're watching over. Like, I'm thinking like when someone says I'm not my brother's keeper, you're the keeper being responsible of looking after. So they are upset with you, angry with you. They made you responsible for looking after something that has substance of producing healing, so medical purposes, everyday needs of life, because people drink wine from, the grapes, things that are so important. Wealth, peace, prosperity, if you're talking about representing God's people, prosperity and peace. They made you in charge of looking after everyone else's prosperity and everyone else's peace and everyone else, like the people of God, His people. They put you in charge of doing this thing. And they made you in charge of keeping everyone else's everyday needs and necessities. They made you in charge of watching over what's going to help people's healing and medical purposes. And then it says, but you haven't kept your own. You're not responsible, or you haven't been looking after your own everyday needs and prosperity and peace and whatnot. And mind you, this is still talking about love in a sense. So this person is mourned, black. She's says death, suffering, mourning, whatever the case, famine. So when you have famine, like the lack of something, right? suffering, mourning, famine, and judgment, sin. So this person, she's admitting, she could be admitting the possibility of suffering, she's admitting that she's mourning, she's lacking stuff, and she's sinning, but she's still beautiful. And she's saying, don't look at me because I'm doing all these things, because I'm like, it's being exposed, it's right there. My siblings aren't happy with me, my brothers and sisters aren't happy with me. They made me responsible for looking after people's peace and prosperity and everyday needs and necessities, but I haven't even looked after my own or myself. So I can't even love myself. Really starting to feel triggered. Okay. Tell me, O thou whom my soul loveth, where thou feedest, where thou makest thy flock to rest at noon. That did not English in my brain. For why should I be as one that turneth aside by the flocks of thy companions? What? Tell me, O thou whom my soul loveth, where thou feedest, like feeding, like actually giving nurture, like food to, like my soul loveth you. Tell me, oh, you, like, okay, for English purposes, tell me, you whom my soul love, where you feed, where you makest thy flock to rest at noon. And thy flock is italicized. Flock as in like group of birds or animals or people to move in a group. Where they make my flock, your flock, thy flock. Because thy is my, right? Or is it your? What's your? So it is your, okay. Like thou is like you, thy. So still you. Okay, talking about you. Tell me. Person that my soul loves. When you feed, so someone that's where you make your group to rest at noon. Why should I be as one that turneth aside by the flocks of thy companions? Turn aside. Move away or reject. Because, like, I know aside means, but you're turning it away. My soul love, where you feed my soul, makest thy flock, group of people, rest at noon. For why should I be as one that turns away by the flock of thy companions. Turning away by the flock of thy companions. If thou know not, O thou fairest among women, go thy way forth by footsteps of the flock and feed the kids beside the shepherd's tents. I don't know what that means. I just said like I'm not sure if like they're asking like because it sounds like the person like the person that does it for me, the person that's feeding my soul. I'm gonna go to Bible app. Solomon, first chapter, 1:8, and see if it tells the meaning. Creating Bible study. It said is a pivotal verse within the Song of Songs. This poetic book, though the interpretation is debated, is generally understood within Orthodox Christianity as an allegory representing the relationship between Christ and the church. More specifically, between Christ and the individual believer. This verse is therefore just not a special instruction, but also symbolic invitation to spiritual intimacy and understanding. The fairest among women represents the bride, a symbolic representation of the church of the individual soul yearning for communion with God. The instructions to follow the flock and feed the kids points towards a journey of seeking spiritual guidance and nurturing faith. So that makes me happy because I wasn't thinking like an individual person and I couldn't help but just Jesus. So maybe I'm on the right track, but is she asking that is this more so talking on the perspective of understanding God's love at this point? Is it more like, tell me, O thou whom my soul loveth, my soul loves you, because thou feedest, where thou feedest, because you feed my soul, meaning you give me nourishment, where thou makest thy flock to rest at noon, for why should I be as the one that turneth aside by the flocks of thy companion? Is she asking like an actual question, like why would I go or turn away from the group of companions? Because companionship is like having someone to be with, right? Whether it's friend, partner. It's not good to be alone, so why would I go away? Spends a lot of time with someone you spend a lot of time with. Why would I be turned away by a group of the people that spends time with you? If you're not the fairest woman among women, go that way, forth by the footsteps of the flock, and feed thy kids beside the shepherd's tent. Is it more so just saying follow God? Maybe? It's 11:31. Gotta work. And then this section says Solomon desires a young woman's love. We may have to come back to this. Solomon desires a young woman. It says, I have compared thee, O my love, to a company of horses in the Pharaoh's chariots. Thy cheeks are comely, or beautiful to look at, with rows of jewels, thy neck with chains of gold. We will make thee borders of gold with studs of silver, while the king sitteth at his table. My spikenard sendeth forth the smell thereof. A bundle of myrrh, which I looked up, its use for oil. Plant used for oil, is my well beloved unto me. He shall lie all night betwixt my breasts. My beloved is unto me as a cluster of camphire in the vineyards of Engedi. Engedi? Behold, thou art fair, my love. Behold, thou art fair. Thou hast dove eyes. Behold, thou art fair, my beloved. Yea, pleasant also our bed is green. Okay, bed is green. Bed, like, when you say your bed is green, I think that's interpreted as, like, the future that you hold is good, like, for generations. I never thought, like, whenever I heard someone say you made your bed, lay in it, it never means literal, like, bed is green. Green is typically a good sign, like, because you think of, like, plants and, like, trees and nurturance and things that's growing. So that instantly just makes me think, behold, thou art fair. Fair could mean pretty, fair could mean just like good character. I noticed that sometimes in the Bible it seems like a person, when they describe women that are fair, they think highly of that kind of woman. It kind of entails that their character might be a good thing. And our bed is green makes it seem like, you know, the future is bright. The beams of our house are cedar, and our rafters are fir. F-I-R. More of comparing love. I think I need to do a part 2 on this. I'm a little less confused than I was at first, so I'm glad I recorded this. Horses makes me think of stallions. Horses are really pretty, actually. But they're also creatures that are strong, and I think of like soldiers and stuff like that. Yeah. What? Yeah. I don't know. Why are you just creepishly standing through the door? Like, what's up? Hi, mommy. What's up?